Yes, hello again. Welcome to another episode of A Game of Two Halves. Sorry about that, just a bit of a technical issue. Anyway, welcome to another episode of A Game of Two Halves. We're as cheap and cheerful as your average W League broadcast, if not quite on the same register in terms of slapstick comedy. But you can find us on YouTube, and our website, www.ag02h.com. Tell your friends, your enemies, your cat, or else we'll send Bobs around to show you just how hard she can punch a football. Talking of which, on to our two teams tonight. Melissa Barbieri captains the Bubsy Babes. She spent all week fiddling with her buzzer to make sure it's fully operational. Double entendre, entirely intentional. And alongside her is Australia's own divine ponytail, ex-Adelaide United star Ange Costanzo, whose son Dominic has recently signed for the Reds after scoring 14 goals for the Croydon Kings in 2020, which is only 11 more than Ange scored in his entire career. Now, the Jamo Tarts are without their inspirational leader, Scott Jamieson, tonight. He's breached his multi-million-dollar contract with A Game of Two Halves by controversially agreeing to play for Melbourne City against the Central Coast Mariners at the exact same time of our recording. Safe to say, a misconduct charge will be forthcoming. And so, broadcaster and journalist Louise Taffa has been drafted in to wear the skipper's armband. Now, Louise is a Manchester United fan, which of course makes sense as she lives in Canberra. And she also keeps a keen eye on young footballers. So she'll have absolutely no idea who her teammate is tonight. Joining Louise is Roy O'Donovan, the Newcastle Jets striker who's just gained citizenship down under and who has already introduced Irish dancing into Australia. So those are our teams. Good luck to one and all. Before we play for points, some of the latest headlines from around the world of football. In the news this week, Fox Sports have finally come through on their $40 million promise to broadcast underrepresented sport. Zeljko Kalac is the first out of the door in Tony Popovic's Greek adventure with Xanthi. Spider is reported to have left to focus on much more important things, such as great weekly topical football podcasts with fantastic and, dare I say, rather dashing hosts. Not my best angle. In Gosford, a rejuvenated Mariners have lit up the A-League this season as Alu Kool reveals the complex tactics that have transformed the Central Coast this season.
Just score goals. Pretty simple.
Absolute genius. Why didn't everybody else think of that? And unfortunately, in the latest weekly A Game of Two Halves Matt Ryan's seating update, we are sad to report the keeper has yet another new perch after injuring his hip in training. Poor old Matty. So on to our first round for points. It is 4-4-2. We show one team a set of 4 pictures. That team can come up with any answer, and they'll get a point if it's creative, even if it's totally wrong. But if they don't spot the right answer, then we move on quicker than Chelsea with managers, and the other team will get a crack. So let's get stuck into it. For our first set of 4, we will start with the Jamo Tarts. Here you go, blue team. We have 4 Aussie players in Europe: Zach Duncan, Awa Mabil, Daniel Arzani, and Alex Gersbach. Do we have any clues? I've got a hint for you, incidentally. If Denmark's Australian-born Princess Mary wanted to get on the beers with new Aarhus loanee Daniel Arzani, who might tag along? Any guesses?
Non-real answer. Arzani is the only one to be bought with Bitcoin.
I like that. That's worth a point, yes. And what's your real answer, given you were so good with the incorrect one?
Alex and Zach Duncan also play at the same club.
So the odd one out is?
Awa Mabil.
Awa Mabil is the correct answer. He is the odd one out. He is in the same country, but not at the same club. And with Arzani making his way to Aarhus Gymnastic Forening, that's their full name, he will join Gersbach and Duncan at the club, while Awa, of course, is at FC Midtjylland. Okay, Bubsy Babes, your next cab off the rank. Have a look at this. So firstly, what we want to know is, can anyone identify what these stadiums are Probably no points for identifying the first one, but we'll give you extra points if you can identify the other three. And which one is the odd one out? Bob's, Ange?
Amy Park, Dundee.
That's one of the cities.
Oh, you have to name the actual stadium. Oh, gosh. No chance.
Well,
Old Trafford?
No.
No, seriously, though. All
River?
Amy Park is the only one that Western United are allowed to play in.
Ooh, you know, you're not too far away from the mark there in terms of the reason why. But, yeah. So which one are you saying is the odd one out?
I was going Amy Park, but...
Amy Park is correct. No, we'll give you a point for that. It is the only one, of course, with only one stadium in the picture. But why is it the odd one out? Ange, you got any clues?
3 teams play there instead of 2.
Yeah.
You are spot on, Ange. All the others are cities with rivalries so fierce they insisted on building their own stadiums even when they're within spitting distance of each other. The other stadiums, Nottingham, Meadow Lane and City Ground on either side of the River Trent. Dundee has, of course, Tannadice and Dens Park, the closest rival grounds in the UK at just 0.2 miles apart. And of course, and I'm a bit disappointed none of you got this, given the teams that some of you support, Liverpool has Anfield and Goodison Park. In Melbourne, of course, with the addition of Western United, who hosted Melbourne Victory there at the weekend, all 3 Victorian A-League clubs now host derbies at the same venue, Amy Park. Next thing you know, they'll all be wearing template kits by Reebok or something. Ange, do you reckon it will be hard to make your home ground a fortress if it's also the fortress for your greatest rivals?
I think so, yeah. It's not like the old Highmarsh Stadium where it was a fort. Only one team pretty much played out of there and everyone hated coming there. So, yeah, it's hard when you've got 3 teams and 3 different, who knows, they probably use the same change room as well, some of the teams. So
They use the same change room and then they get their own seating and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, AC Milan and Inter do share a stadium, the San Siro. I'm pretty sure back in the day, Ange, that West Adelaide and Adelaide City played big derbies, their home derbies at Highmarsh, though, didn't they, together?
Yeah, back in the day there was big rivalry and it was only 2, but when it becomes 3, it becomes a little bit congested and a bit of a menage a trois, I think.
Well, that's an interesting take on it. Roy, you must have played at one or two of those grounds.
Yeah, there were half of my clubs there. I played for Dundee United, so I knew that one.
Yeah.
Dundee is only a couple of 100 metres across the road, which is Dens Park, and obviously Tannadice is Dundee United. I say obviously to me, but not to everybody else there. So
you could probably have, during your days for Dundee United, you could have probably have tackled somebody at Tannadice and ended up in Dens Park.
Yeah, but to be fair, I probably would have got hurt. They're quite tough up that way.
Great stuff. All right, at the end of that round, it's time to check in with Hayley Routley to see who's having a Patrick Wood and who is having a Jan Bednarek.
Well, Simon, there's absolutely nothing splitting the teams at the moment. It's 2-2.
2-2. Great start for both teams. And I've no idea who Jan Bednarek is either. Next up is our highly cultured and relevant segment, On Me Headlines, where part of the upcoming headlines are missed like an A-League team based in our nation's capital. 1 point to the team who can fill in the missing words and some bonus points for those who can come up with some media sensationalism. And we're off. Our first headline, what did Vasco da Gama defender Leandro Castan do to get sent off? Any guesses for me? Wrong guesses will do. Roy?
Not much.
Is that because you don't, as in you've got not much of a clue, or because he's not done too much?
Usually when I get sent off, I usually have, that's my stock answer. I didn't do much there, so.
When you have been sent off in the past, do you, I mean, I know you've got a little bit of anger inside you, Roy. I mean, do you still give it to the ref on the way off? What's the choicest thing that you've said that you can repeat, of course, given we have a family audience?
Yeah, no, look, I'm a very calm person after the event. It's during the event is the problem for me. I lose my temper, and it's just usually a snap, silly decision, and it's over before I even realise.
And you were pretty calm on the pitch, as I seem to remember. You got any ideas as to what this might be?
I guess it's being in Brazil. Has it got anything to do with pushing the referee?
No, it hasn't. Simple as that. Anybody else got an idea before we tell you? Lou, Bobs?
I was thinking castagno, another word in Italian for nuts. So I was thinking maybe
kicking someone in the nuts.
Are you fluent in Italian?
I wouldn't say fluent, but I can understand a lot, so stop swearing at me.
So, so give us your best bollocking to your defenders in Italian.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm totally Aussie when it comes to that stuff. And I swear a lot, so it's not for public viewing.
It's funny, everybody around the world in football seems to swear in English. Lou, have you got a guess for us before we tell you?
He got sent off for pulling someone's pants down.
I think we give Louise a point for creativity there. I don't mind that. Maybe Roy should have got this one. The actual answer is booting the opposition goalkeeper Douglas Friedrich in the face. Yes, Costanzo red on Sunday after making contact with Bahia's goalkeeper, resulting in a deep, blunt facial cut and the gloveman being unable to play on. And we've rustled up some rather nice pictures of the incident right here. We seem to have the wrong tape. Sorry about that. Accidents happen, Roy. Moving right along, a Dutch footballer's what puts Twitter into meltdown?
Calves.
Who shouted that out? Was that you, Louise, or you, Bubs?
No, that was me, Louise.
That was Louise.
Well, I think we all know what you're looking at when you watch football. The Dutch footballer's calves. Again, it's pretty creative, which I like, but it's incorrect.
Every time I think about the Dutch, actually, I'm wearing a Dutch shirt today.
Nederland.
No, I always think of Austin Powers when it comes to the Dutch. So
wasn't he English? Supposedly.
No, but when he the bong and the blintz and the gold finger and the gold member.
Oh.
So he's gold member.
Yeah, well, there might be a clue in there. Ange, you were going to say something?
I said I wasn't going to go there because I was thinking the same thing as Bubs was. Haircut.
No, haircuts are a recurring theme on this show, but it's not the correct answer. We'll throw it over before we tell you to the Jamo Tarts. Louise, Roy, any idea as to the right answer?
I want to say his wife. What his wife puts in Twitter into meltdown.
Right. Well, we know where your head's at as well. That's incorrect too. Den Bosch striker Jizz Hornkamp found himself trending after he came in hard from behind and led his team to an epic comeback against Excelsior in the Dutch second division last week. Excelsior were initially leading 3-0 and thought they were in for a clean sheet. Oh dear. But Jizz was all over the park and did what came naturally to him, finishing 4 times in 35 minutes with a perfect hat-trick of goals from a header, left boot and right foot, plus the penalty to see the game end in a 4-4 draw. He literally jizzed all over them. And with names like that floating around, it is no wonder, of course, one UK newspaper fell for this. One paper falling for the trick of posting a story about the signing of one Yermas dildo. They must have felt a bit stiff when they found out that was a hoax. Headline number 3. What's to blame for Italy's Antonio Cassano's failure at Real Madrid? Anyone want to take a stab at this one? Ange?
Yeah, I think he ate all the pies, I think, Simon.
You're not far off, Ange. You are not far off.
He put on 12 kilos, I think, when he was at Real Madrid.
We're going to give you that. It wasn't actually pies. It was Nutella. The Italian striker who underwhelmed at Real Madrid between 2006 and 2008 has placed all the blame on Nutella. The club sponsor gave players 5 kilograms of the sweet stuff each month, and Cassano says he ballooned, unsurprisingly, 14 Ks in just 7 months. Even a club fine for every gram over his peak weight couldn't break the habit until he was finally carted off to Sampdoria. But it's not the first time the hazelnut spread has killed a career. In Germany, for example, it's even known as the Nutella curse, after 5 of the 6 footballers to star in ads for the company have almost instantly been dropped from the national team. So if Domino's Pizza are looking to sponsor me, I'm available and I don't much care if I get dropped. We have time for one more headline. US import Catherine Zimmerman shines on W League weekend that will be remembered for what? Shout out if you know.
For the guy in the booth that nobody seems to know, that plays a trombone and suspiciously clicks.
Let's see if you are right. You are. It's not the trombone, though. It's the tuba. A point to the Bobsy Babes. So let's have a look at how that all unfolded. Poor guy. Yes, it's Tuba Guy. Once again, fans left feeling brassed off by Fox after another gaffe over the weekend. The Adelaide versus Victory W League game saw the feed suddenly switch to the face of a mystery man clicking away at his computer, all with a tuba in the background. Meanwhile, La Liga this week announced they will be broadcasting in 8K to let fans get up close with the faces of football. But never forget, Fox did it first. That brings us to the end of the first half. Hayley, who is Southampton and who's Manchester United?
Well, the Bubsy Babes just have their noses in head. They've got 4 points to the Jamo Tarts 3.
Thanks very much, Hayley. We'll be right back after this quick break. So, contrary to rumour, we're still free to see, but we still need your support. If everyone who watches us buys us just one coffee a month, we'll be able to bring this to you for the rest of the season without any paywalls or subscriptions. We've had nothing but lovely feedback since we launched, and we'd love to keep bringing it to you. But we do need your support. You can buy us a coffee at www.ago2h.com with just the press of a button. It's very easy, and in return, you'll get an endless supply of dad jokes, double entendre, and a night in with some of the biggest names of Australian football. So go on. That's got to be worth at least one coffee, eh? Thanks to everyone who's supported us so far and to those who are joining us along the journey. Yeah, and we're back like Mitch Duke. It's almost like we were never really away. Next up, it is the Wheel of Misfortune, where we spin the wheel, and like a referee at Old Trafford, no one really knows when it will stop. Let's see what Carney Gallop has for us this week. Yes, it is Don't Quote Me. We have picked a selection of some of the most memorable quotes from the recent past in Australian football. Who said it and why? This is first on the buzzer, or first to shout your name out, so get your answers ready, please. Let's see the first one. Here's the quote. So you're saying I should resign? Yes, I think you should, to be honest. Who's causing a bit of a fozz here and why?
Angelo.
Yes, Ange.
Is that Fozzie to Ange Costanzo?
It was, you are correct. Craig Foster and Ange Postecoglou's unforgettable set-to on the World Game in 2007 after the Australian under-20s failed to qualify for the Youth World Cup. Ange later said that the row made him unemployable, where Foster reckoned it spurred Ange to the further greatness he later achieved.
In the last two qualification campaigns, I've failed and I'm paid to do it. That's what you're paid
so you're
for,
saying I should resign. So you're saying I should resign.
I think
that's
you should,
your opinion. Is that right?
Yeah, it got pretty heated, that, didn't it? 14 years ago. Let's move on to the next one. This might ring a few bells for you, Ange. Up like a salmon, a spawning salmon. Anyone?
We know that.
Oh, I would have thought this one was very straightforward.
Yeah, is that hard?
Yes.
It is, Ange. Yes. It is the all-time A-League classic commentary from Andy Harper. Champions League game, I think. Here we go.
It's the floated ball to the back stick. Travis Dodd up like a salmon, a spawning salmon.
I think they made a mixtape out of that, didn't they, with some dance tracks. So, Ange, did Travis ever remind you of a fish prior to that header? Did the nickname stick at the club?
No, he didn't. He's pretty quiet, Travis, as you know. Not really. No, but he never really thought he would be caught a fish on TV, that's for sure.
All-time classic. Okay, let's move on to the next one. This one is short and simple. We done. Who said that? Shout out if you know.
Roy, any ideas?
No clue. I think that was a pretty kind of vague quote, to be quite honest.
It is vague. I'll tell you what, I'll do it with the inflection that might give you a bit of a clue. We done?
No help, absolutely. You stick to presenting, right?
Thanks, Roy. Bobsy Babes, you got anything for us?
Give me an accent or something, at least.
Well, it's an Australian accent. We done?
Yeah, that helped a lot. It narrows it down.
No clues, anybody? All right, let's see what happened and who said it.
Playing group today. We done? Last question.
Yep. That was David Gallup at one of the lowest points in his reign, 1 or 2. It was a press conference about Alan Stadgic's dismissal that was so bad that even Channel 7 called it a train wreck. His comments were less about the media questioning and more about his career at the FFA after that debacle. I don't write this stuff, you know. Next, who said this? Here's the quote. Suck on that one. This should be an easy one. She's pressed the buzzer. Go on, Bobs.
Is that Lisa DeVanna?
Are you serious?
No. It was when she was trying to get the drink bottle the right way around.
I'm almost tempted to give Bobs a point there for being so spectacularly wrong. Okay, let's throw it over to the Jamo Tarts. Louise, you got any clues? Roy?
Come on, Louise. I'm carrying you, Louise. Come on.
Give me a hint, Simon.
Well, I mean, Lisa DeVanna is one of the greatest ever Matildas, but there are others. I thought this was a really famous quote.
Has to be Sam Kerr then. Sam Kerr, sure.
Ah, there we go. Roy O'Donovan gets it right.
I am a local.
It took a male player from the Republic of Ireland to identify one of Australia's greatest ever females. Let's have a look at the video.
And to be fair, I did get it in the right ballpark.
There was a lot of critics talking about us, but we're back, so suck on that one.
Great stuff. Sam Kerr doing Sam Kerr things again. Even when she's not scoring goals, she's still scoring goals. Finally, this might need a bit of a trigger warning for you, Ange. Here's the quote. Because of a pissant town, this club will never win anything. Yes, the Bobsy Babes.
That's Vidmar.
It is. Which one?
Aurelio.
There we go. Just checking. It is indeed Aurelio Vidmar.
It was his birthday yesterday.
A few years ago. Oh, happy birthday, Aurelio. Let's hear him.
And that 4-0 result was because of that. Because of a pissant town, this club will never win anything.
What is a pissant town exactly, Ange?
But he wasn't happy, really, that night, was he?
He was not.
I don't even think he knows what he meant to say, but pretty much done that since then.
He was raging. Aurelio Vidmar welcoming darkness, his old friend, in a rant for the ages after losing 4-0 against Melbourne Victory in 2009 and blaming politics. And at the time, with everyone sort of focused on what he said rather than what was actually going on, was there a bit of discord behind the scenes, as you remember?
Oh, not really, because we just had a good run in the Champions League, and that was the semi-final. So, but the good thing is we backed it up the week after at home, and then made the grand final the week after that. So yeah, I think he's just frustrated that the team didn't do well that night, but yeah, we weren't far off. So, and then they ended up winning a couple of years later anyway. So he was wrong on that count as well.
Roy, you've played under many, many different coaches during your career. What's the biggest sort of spray in the media that you can remember from a coach?
I've had a few. I would imagine Arnie Merrick has given me a spray, but when he was the opposition manager, he said when I had an argument with Manny Muscat, he said what I did was in the dark ages in the game. when he was my coach at Newcastle a couple of months later, he had to apologise for that one to get the best out of me. So.
Great stuff. Okay, that brings us to the end of that particular round. Hayley, who's Sheffield United and who's City?
Well, the Bobsy Babes are back on track to regaining their winning form. They're currently leading 7 points to 4.
Thank you, Hayley. Yeah, the Jamo Tarts have won the last couple of episodes. So the Bobsy Babes wanting a win tonight in episode 5. Welcome to Who Are Ya? Who Are Ya? Where we mix up two personalities with a backstory. You have to guess the faces and guess the stories. Let's have a look at the first one. Can you guess who they are and what the backstory is? Now, I'll give you a hint. Oh, yes, we don't need hints. Go on, Louise.
Is it
Lou, the clue is when you shout your name out, you're supposed to have an answer.
Pochettino.
That's one of them.
And Dennis Bergkamp.
And that's the other one. The Jamo Tarts get the two identities correct. Arsenal legend Dennis Bergkamp and current PSG coach Maurizio Pochettino. But what about the story that connects them? Any clues for an extra point? Silence from the Jamo Tarts. What about the Bubsy Babes? Any ideas? It's a tough one, this, actually.
I heard Bergkamp's son just got signed. Is that true? Some PSG or no?
Yeah, you're on the right lines. You are on the right lines. Do we give half a point or a full point? Yeah, we're going to give a full point for that. It's not strictly true, but the backstory behind these two is actually about their sons. Maurizio Pochettino's son, Maurizio with a Z rather than a C, and Dennis Bergkamp's son, Mitchell Dennis Bergkamp, neither clearly trading on their dad's names. They have both signed for Watford FC under-23 team. Next up, who is this? Can you guess who they are? Yes, Bubs.
That's Sam Kerr and Michelle Heyman.
Spot on. No fooling you. What's the story connecting them this week?
Michelle Heyman just beat or equalled and beat Sam Kerr's W League goal scoring.
We're going to give you the point for that. Even though she didn't quite, that's the story we're looking for. Michelle Heyman closing in on Sam Kerr's W League goal record, which stands at 70. Heyman, of course, briefly equalled that record with a hat-trick against Western Sydney Wanderers, but the last goal was later scratched off after it was credited as an own goal to Georgia Yeomandale. But Heyman's current tally, 69, she's not doing too bad. And neither is Sam Kerr, scoring for Chelsea in our last two matches and putting her second in the race for the FA WSL Golden Boot, despite a rather sluggish start to the season. Final mashup for tonight. Let's have a look at this. Who are these two?
Angelo.
Yes, Bobs. I just heard that buzzer. Bobsy
You go,
Bates.
Ange. You go, Ange.
Is one Messi, the one on the right?
Yes. Who's the other one?
Eddie Maguire.
Oh, they're sharp tonight. Yep, it's Leo Messi and Eddie Maguire. So a point for you. But why were they both in the news this week?
Leo Messi's contract has been leaked,
Yes.
and I think he's earning like 555 million euros, which is about 880 Australian dollars.
Which is just about what we're paying everybody collectively tonight. I think that both teams are going to get a point there because Bob's sort of was along the right lines and got the identities, but Louise has given us a little bit more meat on the bones. Both had issues with leaked documents this week. Eddie Maguire, of course, had to deal with Collingwood's leaked report, which condemned their club for endemic racism, which club president Maguire rather bizarrely described as a proud moment for the club. Messi, on the other hand, had the details of his record-breaking €555 million contract with Barcelona leaked by a Spanish newspaper. Cristiano Ronaldo is now said to be considering leaking his contract details so he can claim top spot, while the taxman is hoping someone leaks Neymar's contract. And with that, we are closing in on the full-time whistle. Hayley, who's running away with the loot this week?
Well, a lot of work to do for the Jamo Tarts. They're currently trailing 6 points to the Bubsy Babes 11.
Yes, but it all can change. We are into the final round, squeaky bum time, 10 quick-fire trivia questions, 1 point for a correct answer, a minus point for an incorrect answer, bonus point for a hat-trick of correct answers. Have we all got that? Here we go. Get ready to shout your names out or press that squeaky buzzer, Bobs. Question 1. How many W League teams are still undefeated?
Louise.
Yes, Louise.
3.
3 is correct. Sydney FC, Canberra United and Brisbane Roar point to the Jamo Tarts. On to question 2. How many A-League teams are currently still undefeated?
Go, Roy.
He's not on your team, Ange. You're not supposed to be encouraging him.
Stop it, Ange. I'm going to get...
Go on, Bubs.
None.
None is correct. Every team has suffered at least one loss. It was a bit of a trick question. Point to the Bubsy Babes. Question 3. Which former Socceroo made history on the weekend by being the first MacArthur player to be red-carded?
Angelo.
Go on, Ange.
Milligan.
Mark Milligan is correct. Bobsy Babes pulling away. Come on, Jamo Tarts. Question 4. Wellington Phoenix notched their first win of the campaign against the Central Coast Mariners. Who scored the winner?
Yes.
Your name is Yes, is it, Roy?
Come on. Josh Soterio. It doesn't matter. We need the points. Come on.
You do, and you are correct. Josh Soterio is the right answer. On to question 5. In the W League, Brisbane Roar won a thrilling contest against Melbourne City. Who scored the winner? Yes, Bobs.
Oh, the Brazilian. She's in my nightmares.
Yes. What's her name?
Her H. Starts with a H. Ends with my tears. And my
It might do. You're close, but does anybody else want to try and steal it? Jamo Tarts, Roy, Louise?
Damn it.
Nothing?
Claire Polkinghorne?
No, that's with a H.
Claire Polkinghorne from that well-known Brazilian suburb of Brisbane. No, we'll give half a point, I think, to Bobs because she was pretty close, and she is Brazilian. The answer is Marielle Hecker.
Thank you.
Bobs would have seen that one up close, of course, at the weekend. Question 6. Which former W League player joined Celtic's women's side?
Oh, Louise.
Oh, which came first there? Was that Louise or was that Bobs? I think it was Bobs. Go on, Bobs.
No.
Jacinta Galabadaracici.
Yes, it is Jacinta Galabadaraci. On to question 7. Did I say that correctly? I hope I did. The final of the Copa Libertadores was an all-Brazilian affair, but who won the trophy?
Louise.
Yes, Louise.
Palmeiras, and Lopez scored the winner in the 98th minute. Actually, no.
You don't get extra points.
98th minute.
We didn't ask for the goal scorer.
Bonus point. Bonus
I
point.
want extra points here.
Yeah, no. It's not how it works.
You can't fight each other on a Zoom call, but it's good to watch. We are actually going to give not only Louise the point for the correct answer, because it is Palmeiras, but I've been instructed we've got to give her a bonus point as well for getting the minute of the winning goal correct. That's not going to please Bobs at all. On to question 8. We mentioned before Sam Kerr is second in the Golden Boot race in the FA Women's Super League, but who is in the lead?
Oh.
Yes, Bobs?
Miedema.
No. Oh, sorry. Yes, it is. I'm reading the wrong answer. Goodness me. Minus point to me. Sam Kerr is second with 9 goals, but it is Arsenal's Vivian Miedema top with 12 goals. I think it was your pronunciation, but you are correct.
It's Miedema.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, it's Miedema. Anyway.
That's a bonus point, Simon.
Yeah, it's a bonus point.
Hayley Routley will be the adjudicator of that, and I'm sure she's cringing now because Bobs has been attacking her all series. 2 questions to go, still up for grabs. Come on, think clearly now, guys. Question 9. Manchester United beat Southampton 9-0 the other day, and 8 different Manchester United players scored those goals. True or false?
Louise.
Yes, go on, Louise.
So seven different Manchester United players scored, and the 8th one was an own goal from the Southampton player.
You are correct. The answer is false. Anthony Martial scored twice, but one of the 9 was an own goal. Question 10 could be all on this. Southampton player Alex Jankovic was red carded this morning, 79 seconds into the game, and was the quickest red card in history after kickoff. Is that true or is it false?
False. Roy, false.
Go on, Roy. Yes, false. You are correct. The quickest red card in history after kickoff. Do you know it, Roy?
I do.
13 seconds or something?
It wasn't you. I'll give you a clue. It was actually in 2000. Louise, did you say you knew it?
I did.
No, I didn't know it.
Bobs, go on. You know it. Tell us.
Alicia Ferguson.
Actually, that was a very, very quick red card. That was at a World Cup, I seem to remember.
It was a world record, yeah. It's not anymore. Sorry.
Well, no, although probably at senior level it might still be, because the answer is in 2000, Lee Todd from Cross Farm Park Celtic in Somerset in the UK was red carded 2 seconds after the referee blew the kickoff whistle. And the reason he was sent off is because he responded to that whistle by saying, "Fuck me, that was loud." Which I think is absolutely brilliant.
I've said that a few times, to be fair. Never seen sent off for it.
Okay, well, that is the full-time whistle. Fuck me, that was loud. So drum roll, please. Hayley, who is this week's Brisbane Roar, and who is Newcastle Jets? Sorry, Roy, I didn't write that. Go on, Hayley.
Well, they're back on top with a really convincing win. The Bubsy Babes, 15.5 points to Jamo Tarts 11.
15.5 to 11 back in the winner's circle. And with that bombshell, we say thank you to Ange and to Bobs and Roy and to Louise. There's more successful stand-ins for the absent Jamo. And before we go, we just got some time for some late breaking news. And with clubs feeling the pinch as crowds are still banned in Scotland, Celtic have launched a GoFundMe just to pay for the lettering on the shirt of the latest Aussie signing, Jacinta Galabadarachi. Is that true? No.
She doesn't use her last name on her shirt.
She just goes by Jacinta, does she?
Yeah.
I don't think she could use that name on the shirt, could she? She'd have to have two shirts.
Yeah, we tried at City, but it had to go all the way around like a rainbow.
Yeah.
And a bit round the front as well.
Yeah.
And speaking as a commentator, yes, absolute nightmare. I think Jacinta will be much better. In the light of WA border confusion on the back of a mini COVID outbreak, Tony Sage says he will withdraw Perth Glory from games on the eastern seaboard because they've done enough. So have you, Tony. So have you.
The fact that Tony Sage, with his reputation, with his history in football, has joined the NFE as our chairman is fantastic news.
Oh. Don't we miss those days, the London Football Exchange? As Fox Sports comes under increasing pressure over its W League coverage, Western United's Alessandro Diamanti finds out what the A-League would look like with $40 million of taxpayers' money by smashing his own TV with a football. He's even on target and inside his own house. And finally, footage has just emerged of the clean-up operation at Hindmarsh after former Adelaide United import Ken Ilso was banned for 2 years for cocaine use. Oh, poor Ken. And that is us for another show. Good night. Don't forget to buy us a coffee.